Welcome, everyone, to Hanging Up. We have an in-studio guest.
Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah. I don't know if there's that many people that I want to talk to in Greeley, so this is exciting.
She's very anti-Greeley this week.
I had a tough Greeley week. And by tough Greeley week, I mean in my apartment, looking at the Weld County Commissioners, a Facebook group. The consensus seems to be that I should move away from Greeley, for my opinion, which was very lightly stated. So, I thought about leaving, but I have a lease. Someone did say, why don't I send all the immigrants to your apartment and then they can ruin everything and do crime? And then maybe I could get out of my lease if I did that. I don't know. She said, immigrants will come to your apartment complex and ruin it, and they will destroy everything, and they will bring bed bugs, and they don't respect the property, etc. And then I said, are you talking about college students?
Yeah, very true.
And then I said, people of any stripes could not respect someone's property. That happens all the time, and I'm not sure why you're singling out immigrants. But anyway, it was depressing. It really was. And the internet is usually depressing. Watching the comments on Pride Month for my friend's t-shirt company, it feels like we've gone backwards in some way. And so I have been depressed about it. But what I wanted to talk about is the big gay breakup for Pride that's been going on between the big high-profile gay couple that seem to be having a fight right now, and that's Donald J. Trump and Elon Musk. You don't have to weigh in on that if you don't want to, but I just want to mention that for Pride Month, it's probably one of the biggest gay breakups I've seen.
Oh, they're bitches.
Yeah, and it's high profile.
Yeah. They're
What are your thoughts on the breakup?
I like how catty it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least, if nothing else, at least it's entertaining.
Yeah.
I think it just goes to illustrate just how self-serving they both are. The second one of them didn't get what they wanted, they throw a fit like a baby, and I don't think it really matters how high profile it is. You treat people like that, and you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
Well, somebody punched him in the eye, apparently.
Who? Punched who in the eye?
Elon Musk, he had a black eye.
And I do not believe that it was his child.
Yeah, he says it was his child.
Yeah,
I've missed this.
Someone else said it was Scott Bessent, and then someone else said it was Stephen Miller.
it was a pretty good sized black eye.
Stephen Miller does not know how to punch anyone.
If he had scratches, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
He claims that he was wrestling with his kid X and told him to punch him in told him, it's okay, punch me in the face.
Just to be funny.
And then he did.
Yeah.
That little, 4-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
They can catch you pretty good.
I'm not sure I believe that.
I think he just, did too much ketamine and fell and hit his face.
Now it looks like a shiner.
He lost control of his bladder, slipped on the pee, and
Yeah.
caught it on the bathroom corner.
Yes.
Well, the reports were that he was fighting about tariffs with Bessent and somehow got in front of a fist. And I think he was the aggressor in the situation. So I don't know. All I know is it probably didn't hurt because he's on so many drugs.
So when did the shiner show up? I'm out of the loop. I didn't know about the
That
shiner.
was the day before his last day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was recent.
I think this was the very end of last week.
So he had a shiner last week.
Yeah.
And then he comes out and says, the big, beautiful bill
Yeah.
is horrible.
It can
said
be
that-
big and it can be beautiful, but it can't be both. That's what
Yeah.
he says.
And he said that the country will be bankrupt by the end of the year or will be in a depression or something. I can't remember his exact language.
One of the things he said today that I thought was interesting is that he objected to how quickly it was passed through the
House.
initial steps. None of these Congress people even read it, which is probably true. You know,
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene said she didn't read it. And
but it's kind of hard to read it if you can't read.
True. True.
That's just somebody
There
could
is
read it
not
to you.
a picture version of the bill.
the McDonald's menu version.
Yes.
They should put it on Audible.
Why is Elon Musk surprised by that?
I don't know.
My theory is the only reason why he's being vocal about any of this at all is he's trying to gain back consumer confidence for the companies that went all the way under while he was gone.
Maybe.
You know,
And he realizes he gets them from left-leaning people.
exactly. I mean, Tesla was built on democratic left-leaning concepts,
Yeah.
you know, and all of the money he got for that, all the sustainable stuff came from Obama and Biden and,
Yep.
you know, and so when he basically stabbed them all in the back and said, I'm actually going to be on the other side now,
Yep.
you know, his market shares fell like 70%. I mean, the
Yeah.
company was fixing to collapse.
Yeah.
So
I'm sad it didn't.
But his stock dropped again today.
There's still time.
Yeah. Well, the stock dropped again today after they started fighting, and then it looks like it's gone back up again. So I don't know where it ended.
I also have a theory that I think part of this too is a show.
Yeah.
And it's connected to the market. You think these rich people aren't using that for insider trading? You know, you think they're not influencing the markets
So
knowing that it's going to go up and down so that they can make money off of it? I think it's intentional.
You think they're both in on it? They're just pretending.
Yeah, I think they're both in on it for themselves. I think that whether the fight is actually real or not, they both benefit from it.
Yeah, potentially.
I don't know. Like, if he gets deported.
Yeah, they're threatening that. Steve Bannon said he's an illegal alien. Someone should look into that.
Yeah, and I did see some podcast things from when he first came here with his brother, and they talked about how they had overstayed their student
Yep.
visas and outright admitted it.
Yep.
But I feel like that's a slippery slope. Like, you know, you can't be. I don't know. I don't like him, and I don't
I
necessarily.
mean, they're already deporting citizens.
Yeah, and while we're at it, I guess we might as well send Melania home.
I'm fine with
and
that.
JD Vance's wife, and
Oh,
I mean,
poor thing.
is that really where we're at now?
Well, they got married.
It doesn't seem to matter anymore.
It doesn't really matter.
I know nothing matters. But I don't think I think this is real. I think they really are just two crybaby bitches.
Narcissists.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
When it's done, they'll try to spin it like they did it on purpose or something. But
I don't know. It might not be over for a long time.
I think for financial reasons, they'll have to make up and then say that the liberal media went nuts on this when it was nothing or something like that. I don't trust anything to stick to these guys for some reason, you know. But I would be happy if it did.
I would be so happy if it did.
Me too.
I think this would be like the perfect storm to find out some inside shit. They both know a bunch of shit about each other.
Yep.
You know they do.
Yep.
So
Mudslinging, you know, I think that if it is real, they'll do their damnedest to sling at each other. And if we're really putting them in a contest of intelligence,
Musk is going to
Musk
win.
is going to win.
I know, but he's on so much ketamine now. I don't know.
Although I think even a monkey on ketamine is smarter
Yeah,
than
that's
Trump.
true. I'm surprised they lasted this long.
Together as
Yeah.
a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two narcissists.
You can't have two roosters in a relationship.
Yep.
You got to have one person who's the
gotta-
showboat.
A racehorse and a
Oh.
donkey, as my mom would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Neither of them wants to be the donkey in this situation.
But both of them are.
Well, anyway, how are you experiencing Pride these days?
It's been a interesting experience. Every year, kind of have a little bit of apprehension when we put up our displays and
Yeah.
put our programs out, and you never really know what kind of response we're going to get on social media.
And for the people listening, this is
yeah.
at a library.
We're at a library, and they have lovely little painted quotes from gay icons and gay leaders and so on.
And so yesterday we had somebody come in and decided to, you know, deface one of the displays, and
Yeah. I assume it was a small child.
you know, I wish that were true. In years past, we've had other branches where we'll have people come in and mass check out, you know,
All the gay books.
all the gay books. And then they'll swing by the front desk and tell you, by the way, these aren't ever coming back. We're going to burn these.
Oh, cute.
And then there's social media stuff. You know, we have a Pride story time. The response to that on social media was that we're indoctrinating their children
Yeah.
and teaching them to be gay. And
Yeah, it's not like straight teachers taught me when I was growing up.
right.
You know, it was just gay, everyone trying to make me gay, and then boom, there I was. Instead of straight teachers trying to teach me math.
I just don't understand where it comes from. I don't understand the fear.
So, what is the response when someone says, I'm checking out all these books and they're never returning?
We don't respond. We don't feed into it.
And so if they don't bring them back, they just get a giant fine.
Yeah, if they don't bring them back, it just goes on their account. And,
Okay.
And they
know,
owe money, and
and
you'll
they-
just order new books.
Exactly. I mean, we have more than one copy of books. I think
There's also digital copies.
exactly. So I don't.
So that's so good.
They think they've done some heroic
Yeah.
thing.
Solving
and
gay one petty crime at a time.
5 minutes later, we have the same books there. It's not like it's really doing much. We really try hard to not feed into people's negativity.
Yeah.
We treat it basically the same way we do with First Amendment auditors. We also believe in the First Amendment, and you have every right to record in here, and we're not about to try and stop you from doing that. But I think that it shocks people when they don't get a response.
Yeah.
They're fishing for a negative response.
It's
And-
what feeds them.
And when you don't give it, they lose interest.
Yeah.
And they just go away.
So do you feel like you're having more people participating in events and giving positive feedback than all these negative assholes?
I think there's far more people coming in and having a positive experience than the handful of naysayers. I think it's a net gain. I think that the hard part is just not letting it discourage you,
Yeah.
because it's just so dark and hateful.
I think there's just some people, they're not happy at all. And they can't stand to see someone else's happiness. And it's like a requirement that you be as miserable as they are. When I'm in a good mood, I'm going to go find some books to burn or some people to shit on.
How do these people have this time?
Don't they have jobs?
Yeah. I think they have another small hateful group that they're part of. Mothers for Freedom or whatever your bullshit is that you're into.
We actually have that group meet at one of our branches regularly. They are welcomed just the way everyone else is. Personally, and I know that the library has a similar philosophy that we want you to be able to say whatever you want.
Yes.
This is America. That's the First Amendment. I think that as much as there are things that happen within these spaces that I disagree with, I'm glad that it's here, and I'm glad that you can say it.
Yes.
Sure. Any library, any bookstore is filled with ideas that I may not agree with. How can you be creative or change or do anything interesting if you don't listen to other ideas? But this group of people feels like they are being ignored, like that their ideas are being rejected.
The ramped up hatred is kind of a visceral reaction to the speed at which we made so much progress.
Yeah.
From the mid 90s to now,
Yeah.
it's just been this rocket ship of progress. It finally got to a point where I felt comfortable being out.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I had to be afraid for my life.
Yep.
And I think because there was so much progress so fast, I think that it really scared people that have those core family values or whatever. Yes.
Oh, nuclear family.
Nuclear family values. And I think it scared people.
And look
Yeah.
at what else changed in that time. Look at what happened with technology and television.
But I
and-
think, yes, I think that it was in tandem with that. So I think you're just seeing more gay representation in TV shows and music and things like that. Even though no one was more gay than Rob Halford from Judas Priest.
Oh.
Just no one knew
Right.
at the time. But if you were a gay man in the underground scene, you were like,
What's going on there?
Yeah. I bet you if these people weren't on social media, they'd be way less angry. Because just
Probably.
walking around, I don't
How do you even know?
yeah.
I think gay people have gotten less out.
No, I agree. I've got a few teenage nieces and nephews that would agree with you that they don't feel as safe being out now.
Really? Recently,
yes.
in the last 5 years or so?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
especially since Trump took office again.
Again, yeah.
And I think it's really, it has emboldened people that are hateful.
Yeah.
They feel
Yes.
like they have a license now to be hateful.
Yes.
And kids, the Gen Alpha, they're very fluid generation.
Yeah. They don't even use gay or lesbian as much, I don't think. We had more of a one or the other, and I think these kids are
I just love who I love.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't have to identify myself as anything or put myself in any boxes.
Which I think is
Yeah.
great. But there's also the other end of it too, because not all of them feel that way. As far as the gay community goes, there's not a lot of education going on there. The 13, 14-year-old kids that I've met in that community have no idea at all about any of the history of the community.
Yeah.
That's very true. I think that's for Gen Z as well.
Yeah. I'm, elder millennial, and I grew up learning about Stonewall. And
So I think also people are less out because they felt like the problem was solved. They didn't have to worry about it. So I don't have to march. When Obama was president for those 8 years, Pride got kind of smaller. At least where we were. There's less people out there that felt like they had to march. They didn't have to put on rainbow underpants. They could just go be themselves.
Well, did it become less activist and more party?
yes, absolutely.
I think people just wanted to be whoever and do their lives, and they didn't think they had to fight. And I think that may be part of why that generation was lost. You just, like, once you got the right to marry, people started marrying, then they started coupling up, and it wasn't like a fight that you had to do anything. It just settled in their house, and the gay bars started to die out.
PrEP was invented.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot that happened in that time that also made gay people more comfortable. And then Trump came, and then that was just scary. And I don't think the kids had the fight in them. Like, they didn't come out of the rebellion from the 60s. We were all like chill and partying, and it was fine, and everybody could be what they wanted. They don't know that history.
I have to completely agree with that. I think that it's become less activism and more partying. And it's just an identity thing,
Yeah.
And I think they've forgotten the kind of sacrifice
Yep.
That's been made to get us this far. And by not being appreciative of that, by not acknowledging that, by not participating in that resistance,
Yeah.
we're not doing ourselves any favors. It's very easy to lose ground.
Yeah.
Yes. So do
It's-
you think that this Pride this year will be more activism and less party?
I think so.
I think so too.
I fully expect to see that. One of the things that I thought was really interesting in the Obama years, I saw this huge increase in the number of churches
Participating.
that were participating.
Yeah.
Had just kind of embraced the community.
Yeah. So like not like new age, but like
Universalist kind of places.
Yeah. Or even like
Unitarian.
modern Christian,
Yeah.
younger congregation type.
Yep.
Okay.
And this last year, they all just vanished.
Dropped out of the whole thing.
There was maybe 2 churches at last year's Denver Pride.
Huh.
And the log cabin Republicans disappeared. There used to be this like really tight mesh of people from both sides of the political spectrum.
Right.
That it didn't seem to matter. We were all part of the gay community.
Yeah.
I definitely feel a sense of change happening there.
Yeah.
I have also noticed that Pride last year felt heavy on the T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it didn't really feel like
Yeah.
it was specifically for everyone. It felt like it was a trans celebration.
Yeah.
Which I'm not against. Like I don't have anything.
No,
I
but
don't
it
have
is.
anything wrong with that. But that it's kind of turned into that.
They're the group that we see as a group that needs the assistance, but we all do still. We still need to celebrate, I think,
Right.
our own stuff.
I've also seen a lot less from the Human Rights Campaign.
Yeah, I think they sort of disbanded some of that human rights campaign stuff. I had one friend in Tampa that worked for Human Rights Campaign for a long time, and he just stopped doing that.
I think the churches coming back would be beneficial. And I'm not like a pro-church person.
That'd be great,
But-
but I don't know if they want to. I think the highlighting of trans people has turned off certain segments of the
I
population.
agree.
And I that's one
And
reason
you think it's the church people.
I think that
To
it's
some extent.
a
Well,
lot
okay.
of people, but I think the churches.
Did you hear about this new word in the Native community that Native Americans, indigenous peoples of America
The
have
Two-Spirit?
taken on? Nope, that's the old
That's
one.
the old one? Okay.
And now the young trans people in those communities are like, we don't like that one.
okay.
And I'm like, so that's just like annoying.
Yeah.
Let's
Well, the
just be honest. Like the young trans people are annoying.
Ashley's always got that subtle, nuanced take on these things.
And so indigenous people of North America have had a word for trans people
What's
as
the
long
new-
as they have been around. And like, that's not good enough for you. You have to like put your own new thing on it.
So
Well, that's-
indigiqueer, that's
Indigiqueer. That's the new
word.
Isn't that horrible?
That's the worst word.
I don't know that I love that.
I like Two-Spirit so much better.
Yep.
You know, the thing that I've talked with my husband about for years is that I've always had this like kind of weird feeling about it because trans issues are not a sexuality
Right.
thing. Like being trans doesn't have anything to do with your sexuality.
Correct.
It's your gender identity. And those are two completely different things. I think that it's in some ways confusing to some people to have it all kind of lumped together.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree with you, especially men over 40.
Yeah.
Like,
But think about this. So think about young people are always rebelling against the generations before them, right?
yeah, so eventually they'll come around.
So they'll have to learn through doing their thing their way. So I think there's just always this rebellion against what was. And I didn't think it would happen because I thought we had it right. And then that was done and it settled. I didn't remember there was kids who would be younger than me one day who are going to think that my ideas were dumb and old and everybody's always had them and now we need new ones.
You know, I'm always shocked when I meet other people in the gay community that have that traditionalist viewpoint on life.
Yeah.
I've met two men before where one of them wanted to be the stay-at-home, cook and clean, raise the kids, you tell me what to do, very male-female traditional roles there. For me, growing up, like I thought the best part of being with another guy is that role system didn't exist anymore. You know, there was no breadwinner. We just worked together, you know? So it always kind of shocks me when I see people in the gay community that embrace that, like,
butch femme dichotomy or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even think they use butch and femme so much anymore. It's like mask or something else.
We don't say lipstick lesbian anymore.
Well,
no, I do.
She does, yeah. She called me one once, I think, or something.
No,
like
I said
that.
you like them.
Oh, yeah.
That's who you
that
like.
Would be true. And I said I was a chapstick lesbian. And she was like, is that real? And I'm like, it was in the 90s.
So, but don't you think that's just like a personality thing, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm the man in my relationship. My husband cooks and is home more and like takes care of the dogs and runs more of the errands just because his schedule allows for that.
Right.
Well, that's what the kids want, right? They want the freedom to be whatever they are, like, you know, no specific gender or non-binary.
But I think that just happens in life anyways. Do you and your husband share taking out the trash, or is that just like one person's job?
No, we share that responsibility.
How do
Usually,
you keep track of all these things?
just whoever has the chance.
Oh, you're just like, oh, I see it's full, and you take it out?
Yeah.
How
That's
confusing.
like so...
Like you just look at it and understand what's going on with garbage and then you respond to it.
Is that
What
weird?
about dishes?
Lawn mowing.
Well, we live in an apartment, so we have people for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
What about dishwashing?
Dishwashing, it usually has to do with work schedule. So whichever one of us is home to do it does it.
Yeah.
I think the
So you are both just clean people.
Yeah.
You are both just people that are like, I see something that needs done and you do it.
Generally speaking,
Ugh.
except for laundry. Laundry is the one thing that we both despise.
Oh.
doing laundry or folding laundry?
Folding laundry.
Yeah, it's the putting it away that sucks.
Yeah, we have
That's my favorite part.
We have, the end of our bed is just unfolded laundry. And it's just perpetually that way. I mean, I get dressed out of the unfolded pile.
Yeah, and that works for both of you, so it's fine.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to bother him, you know.
So you just have the perfect, where you found a person who is on your same cleanliness level. That's like a miracle.
I think that's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
It's easier for gay guys than you'd think. I don't know.
You're a pretty clean type of person.
Yeah,
Gay guys, I can get that.
And not all gays are clean. I have too. But generally speaking,
I would say that a gay man in general is much cleaner than a heterosexual man. Most heterosexual men are slobs.
I don't know.
Unless they're OCD.
I think part of it is that just inherently, like all the things you like to do happen in dirty places. So you just like kind of, I don't know, you get in the habit of making your environment clean.
Yeah.
And I think part of it too is it's mental for me. Like I feel like I'm mentally discombobulated if my space is
in disarray.
Yeah.
No, my husband does not feel that way at all. He could
Yeah.
let shit go to hell in a handbasket around him. And I'm like,
And we're the type of people where if we're going on vacation, we spend 2 days beforehand cleaning the entire house before
So you
we
come
leave.
back to something
Me
clean.
too. Because then I feel like way stressed out if I come home to a dirty house.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hate that. There's nothing worse than bringing home a suitcase with dirty laundry and stuff and then having to
Add it to the mess.
it's
Yeah.
just not fun. And it kind of undoes all the relaxation.
My
that you've
husband
had.
would just throw everything away and buy new stuff. He needs
I
to be
believe-
immensely rich.
I believe your husband is depressed.
Does he need a
I
cookie?
think that might be what's going on.
So we end our podcast with something that you're over this week. And
Yeah. What do you want to hang up on?
we say it's hanging up on it. Like you're over it, you're hanging up on it. It's like not something you're going to let in your life anymore.
Or however you want to interpret it. We don't care. That's tough.
I can go first.
It is. Go first.
I always go
Why don't
first.
you go first?
I'm hanging up on the rain. Fuck this rain. Quit raining.
More rain in Denver in May than there was in Seattle.
That's insane. It's raining here every day. I hate it. I want it to go away. I want it to be hot. I want to go to the pool.
Yeah.
No more rain.
Well-
Fuck you, rain. So that's what I'm over. That's what I'm hanging up on. This
Okay.
goddamn rain.
You can't really hang up on it. You're kind of,
I'm hanging up on it.
all right.
I'm hanging up on Toyota.
Why?
They want $4,500 to replace the hybrid battery in my car.
Mm.
You have a Prius.
Yeah.
Can you find a used one? Do they work?
That's what I'm looking into, but I'm over Toyota. Fuck them.
Oh, but they make such a good car.
They do.
It's so hard.
You probably have 406,000 miles on your Prius then.
I do.
Fuck Toyota.
It's just I just get mad when it costs money.
I get
Yeah.
it.
And it has lasted me a really long time. You know, I only paid $13,000 for the car, and I've gotten like 210,000 miles out of it.
Yeah.
And you know, $4,500, I could probably get another.
Did you get it
200,000 miles out of
new?
it. No,
Oh, damn it.
no, it was used.
My goal in life is to do that Toyota rule one time. That if you're the original owner and you get something from 0 to 300,000 miles, they'll give you a brand new Toyota.
Who said that?
Toyota!
Is that really a thing?
That's really a thing.
Wow. I did not know that.
So
Does Honda do that?
maybe get a new one and then try to reach that goal. And
that's
you'll
not a
be
bad
like,
idea.
and you'll be not mad at Toyota anymore.
Just a note to fact check that. I'm not going to do it now.
yeah. It's
But-
if you don't replace the engine, like that voids the thing.
Does Honda do that? Because I have pretty close to.
I don't know. Look it up, but I know it's a thing with Toyota. But it has to be the original owner, so that's the problem. Lots of times people make it to that mile number, but they weren't the ones who bought it
Well, the dealership
originally.
owned it first. I don't know. It had like 1,000 miles on it.
So don't do it. Don't fix your Toyota. Fuck that.
Fuck that. Get a new, more expensive car.
That's not a Toyota.
It's the American way.
Yeah. Get a Ford.
Oh, no.
No. Ew.
Oh, no.
Chevy.
No. They're all made in China anyway, you guys.
I know, but still.
They're
Okay.
ugly.
Yeah, Fords are ugly. I agree.
Yeah.
Those new Mustang, whatever hybrids that look like a fucking SUV mixed with a
Yeah,
hatchback.
They're
Ugh.
not cute. I hate that boxy look. I hope we get back to the old school muscle car look or something else. That's what we all
Agreed.
want, but they won't give it to us.
No.
Just a 68 Shelby. Is it so hard?
Beautiful.
Yeah, anything from like 68 to 74 was like perfection by any maker
Just like that style, I guess. Maybe that's the problem.
because we're old.
Yeah.
What are you hanging up on, Jennifer?
What am I? I never know what I'm hanging up on.
It can't be Rain or Toyota.
Ah, fuck. Those were both the ones I was gonna say.
So what now?
Rain on my Toyota.
I know what your answer should be.
Greeley?
The Weld County Commissioners.
Yeah. I mean, for a long time I was very anti living in a bubble, but I feel pretty pro put me in a bubble. Someone find me a bubble, and I will immediately go to the bubble and stay in it. Fuck the Weld County Commissioners. I
Yeah.
will not be voting for a single one of them.
No, I don't like any of them.
So yeah, just screw racists and But
She went for a big one.
racists.
I mean, I guess that's not bigger than Rain.
No. I mean, you can control them about the same amount. And Toyotas,
Well, you can not do a Toyota. That's a pretty good one.
yeah, he had them probably the
Relatable
most
one.
realistic.
Fun. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me on. It was fun to be on the other side of the door today.
Yay!
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Like, follow,
Subscribe.
share.
Fuck Weld County Commissioners.
Like, follow, and subscribe at Hanging Up Podcast on YouTube.
Boom.
Boom.